Welcome to another episode of the Rankum Podcast. I'm Garrett Seawright. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rankum Podcast. Wherever you download us or watch us, if you watch on YouTube, give us a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, however you can help us out. We certainly would appreciate it. I am on Twitter at Garrett Seawright, and I am joined today, as always, with my co-host, Don Garwood.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, it is just the two of us today and forever.
Yeah,
We've decided permanent, no more guests.
Yeah, we're tired of people stealing our clout,
Yeah.
getting all the attention on this thing,
We're
so we
the
kicked them
stars
off.
of this show.
That's right.
So get out of here, Zach, Reese, Kiwan, any other potential guests. You can be gone forever.
Yep. The H is still for hate, though.
Yeah,
so,
no, yeah. You
I
can
mean,
still,
your hate mail still goes to Zach.
yeah, so at Zach Seawright on Twitter, if you hate what we're doing. So
Which I don't understand how you could, because obviously we're the reason that there it's not 100% exclusively hate mail.
Right. That's a great way to look at it.
But we might garner some hate this episode.
Yeah.
Because we've got to we're coming clean about some things that have been said on this podcast that have ruffled some feathers.
Or that we've just been flat out lying about.
Yeah.
So today on the show, it's a confession, basically. So forgive us for we have committed movie sins. We're going to go over movies that we've never actually seen today. That basically when you say you haven't seen this,
The reaction is, how have you not seen this?
people just lose their minds. Like, oh my God, you've never seen. I just told you I haven't seen it.
You yelling at me, asking me if I didn't mishear you the first time you asked.
You're exactly like, and you yelling at me makes me want to not watch that movie some more.
And I'm guilty of yelling at Garrett for not having seen certain movies or franchises.
I think that's all this episode is going to be. You're going to be just deeply offended that there are movies that I'm certain that you love.
There are.
That are on my list of movies I ain't seen.
I don't know your list again.
You know my list.
Well, okay. So we do not discuss our lists ahead of time.
Yeah.
But from previous episodes, we've discussed what Garrett hasn't seen, and I'm sure that those movies are going to make an appearance.
Yep.
Like I jokingly rattled off about 8 movies before we started.
Pretty close to my entire list, actually.
Right.
So
yeah. I more or less know Garrett's. I don't know exactly which movies he's going to bring about, but
so my entire list is
not only have you not seen one movie,
right, I have not seen the series or the franchise. I haven't seen the entire thing. So from start to finish, from finish to back, whatever, I haven't seen them. So that's my entire list and my honorable mentions. Like that's not even getting into just single movies. That everyone's like, oh, I love Gladiator. I haven't seen it.
Have you not seen Gladiator?
No, I've got the Blu-ray like literally about a foot behind you.
You haven't seen Gladiator?
I've never watched it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not. I have not. I have not seen it.
Like it's Russell Crowe's best performance.
That's not really saying a whole lot, though, is it?
No. I think he was also Tugboat Willie, but that might have just been like a Family Guy throwaway.
South Park,
right?
Making movies, singing songs, and fighting around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so no,
Hey,
I've never seen
Joaquin Phoenix's like first big movie.
Yeah, yep.
And he did a fantastic job in there. So I'll tell you this.
Are you not entertained?
It might be. He might have done a better job. He didn't do a better job than he did in Joker, but he was creepier in Gladiator than he was in Joker.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So I've got that to look forward to. So that's not even on my list. That's not making it on my list. That's just a movie that I haven't seen.
You're ridiculous.
So what is your number 5, Don?
So my number 5, and it was a late edition because I just thought about it. Literally, I thought of it and said, okay, let's go live. I got my number 5, is The Truman Show.
Yeah, I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the whole thing.
So I've seen like clips from it where he's like looking at a flower and the flower has a camera in it. But I've never seen that movie. And by the way, we don't know how this podcast is going to go. We don't know if it's going to be 20 minutes long because it's just going to be like, I have also never seen that movie. So allow me to bring nothing to the conversation. But like it's supposed to be a very good movie, but I've just never sat down and watched it. And I think maybe if it was free on like HBO or Prime Video or Netflix, I might watch it, but I don't want to spend the $3 that I'm going to spend on something less enjoyable probably. But I just can't bring myself to spend it and then sacrifice an hour 43. That's the runtime.
The definitive runtime. Well, and I don't know that I know the premise of that movie.
So I do know the premise. He lives in essentially a giant dome.
Like, so he lives in Big Brother, basically. Like,
but he doesn't know it.
Everywhere.
Yep. And so, like, everybody in his life is staged. Like, his wife, his doctor, everything. We're all introduced since the time he was a kid. We're introduced to him as characters on the show.
Right, so they're in on it. So
everybody is in on
but
it.
Him.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's rough.
And you can imagine that you'd start going crazy.
Going a little bonkers there.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So my number 5, and this is, I need you to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, because this is just the start of my list. I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies.
I've seen a couple of them. Like I think I've seen the first one, and then like the last 3. And there's like 6 of them.
There's going to be a theme here. I'm not real big into action movies, and it's just so unrealistic, which I realize is hypocritical from someone who we did a whole episode on movie musicals. Like, nobody just ever busts out into song. Like, that's not realistic.
They
either.
do, but not before a fight.
But not original songs.
Oh, that's true. It's always like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, like you just sit here.
Or Cool Rider.
A couple different ends of the spectrum there. But yeah. I just action movies are just not my thing. There are a couple that I like.
Like Die Hard. Oh my God!
I'm just kidding. I've seen Die Hard. It's not.
I know
movie,
you.
But
I was 99% sure that you'd seen Die Hard.
Yeah, no, I've seen. I don't think I've ever seen Die Hard 2. But
Die Hard 2 isn't great.
Like, I've seen Live Free or Die Hard. I saw
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah,
and then the newest one.
I haven't seen
with Jai Courtney. You can get that out of here. You didn't miss anything.
Okay, good. So I like the Die Hard movies that I've seen.
But you've never
Taken. I like Taken. I like the Taken movies
with Liam Neeson's.
Oh my God! But other than that's pretty much the exhaustive list of action movies. I did see Christopher Nolan's Tenet earlier this week. Phenomenal.
What's that about?
It's kind of sci-fi. It's like James Bond, but sci-fi. But I saw one of the critics wrote that it was James Bond on acid, and I think that's probably a fair way to put it. Like, it's pretty great. You would enjoy it. So that's my number 5.
What's your number 5?
Any Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible movies.
Haven't seen.
And I was going to say those are probably some of them are Tom Cruise's best work, but Tom Cruise just plays the same guy running away from stuff in every movie he's in. But the Mission Impossible movies are good. The newest one, not bad at all.
Actually not
that bad.
So that's my number 5.
Okay. So my number 4 is, I think, probably regarded as one of I think several of these are like top 10 movies of all time or like ranked on IMDb. But this one is Schindler's List.
Really?
I've never seen Schindler's List. I understand that there is a girl in a red jacket who is the only thing in color in the movie. And then maybe eventually at the end you just see the jacket lying on the ground. I don't know. But I've never seen Schindler's List.
Back to Liam Neeson's.
Is Liam Neeson in Schindler's List?
Liam Neeson is Schindler.
Oh, God.
It's Oscar Schindler.
I believe it's Oscar.
Is Liam Neeson in Schindler's List? Yes. Yes, he is.
That's a very young Liam Neeson.
He is a very young Liam Neeson. I know you're depressed a lot, so it's never a bad time to watch it. Like, you got to be real down to watch Schindler's
So
List.
am I
like,
gonna...
if you're riding high, Schindler's List is not the movie for you.
So it's a movie that you need to watch in the middle of the day so that afterwards you can go outside and see the sunshine?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like watching Requiem for a Dream.
Yes.
You need to watch that in the middle of the day because after it's over... We watched it in college in Professor Hall's class. And we watch it and he, like, after the movie's over, Requiem for a Dream, he's like, hey, I just want you guys to know that the sun's shining outside. We're going to have a good day. It's only 2 p.m.
I don't feel that way right now.
Walk outside, raining.
Yeah, it's...
Because we were in the bottom basement of the library.
Library, yep. But Schindler's List is, believe it or not, Holocaust, not exactly an upper.
Huh.
Don't leave that one with a lot of hope. But if you are enjoying your day, it's a nice way.
So is Schindler a Nazi who's like smuggling out Jews, or is he just a German?
Much. He's not he's kind of a Nazi. Like he's yeah. Okay, the nice way he's a German who is taking people and having them work in his factories and then getting them out.
Gotcha.
So, and then he keeps a list of all the people that he's...
Is that Schindler's List?
It is Schindler's List.
Roll credits.
Pretty much. But there's one very visceral moment of kids hiding from the Nazis where I'm not going to tell you where one kid hides, but it ain't great.
In like the bottom of a porta pot?
Yeah. Yeah. And then he gets kicked out of there because it's basically full. Like, they're like, hey, this is our hiding spot. Like,
yeah.
So if you get like 2 hours,
3 hours, 15 minutes,
and you're like, I might want to kill myself today, watch Schindler's List. But
well, isn't that going to make me like more likely?
No, because then it like appreciate like, hey, my lease is not that bad right now. I mean, it could get that word bad, but
it's not at the moment.
At the moment, I'm not that bad.
No.
So Schindler's List at 4. That surprises me though. I think like that was something I would have figured you would have seen. My number 4 is I have not seen any of the Lord of the Ring movies.
Which we knew that. That's been brought up at least once.
Yes. One, I have a current fear of the Lord of the Ring movies.
Are you afraid that you'll like them?
Yeah. I'm I'm freaked out that I will enjoy them thoroughly. Because I get in, I can admit that I have a pretty addictive personality that if the second I enjoy something, I obsess over it.
Wish you'd enjoy your dog stop barking.
Yeah, it will work on that. But I asked you and our good friend Marcus, like, hey, do you guys think I would like Red Dead Redemption 2? Yeah, I don't know. Here's the disc. Figure it out. And that's all I've played video game wise for the last 6 months.
2020.
Yeah, it's one of 2 video games I have played.
Was the first one the original Red Dead, or did you never get that one?
No, I've never played the original
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption. But that's all I've played. And so I start I don't watch TV shows.
Oh, you played the show. Is that your other game?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The show. If I watch a TV show, I get like wholly obsessed with it. Where at 2:00 in the morning, I'm just reading IMDb trivia bits about that show because I want to know everything there is to know about it. And so I'm afraid that with like 20 hours of movies, that I'm just gonna consume me to the point that I love it. But then I'm that annoying friend who just saw this movie that came out in 2003.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, Don, I love this. And you're like, I know, welcome to 8th grade.
Well, no. So, and I admitted this on movie franchises. I didn't see The Lord of the Rings until I was out of college. Did I sit down and watch them? So I have been that annoying friend. Just like friends who don't mute their phones before they record a podcast, whose dogs bark all the time, whose wife's in there yelling at the dog. Annoying friends. You get it. But
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So I went, I think Kiwan was the person that I texted, like, after I saw Lord of the Rings. I was like, this happened and this happened. They weren't just walking. I mean, they were walking, but they weren't just walking. He's like, I know. I love Lord of the Rings. And I'd watch the next one and be like, this. So it'd be just exactly last summer, I listened to all the Harry Potter books. And after I would get done with each book, I would text Garrett and be like, I wish they would have covered this in the movies, or this is really interesting. Why
did they do this?
You can actually see the relationship building between Jenny and Harry, as opposed to in the movies. It's like, hey, we spent the summer together. Let's fuck. Which is how it comes out in the movies.
I was just like awkwardly kiss, like
right.
But I like.
Can you zip me up? Sure, Jenny. We are love now.
So yeah, I'm afraid to it's an absolute commitment. Like, those are long movies. There are several of them.
I mean, you can obviously knock them out in a day.
Can you? Like
2.5 hours.
I know time wise, but like mentally, can you knock them out in a day?
Yeah.
All right.
It's like you can get them all done in about 8 or 9 hours. The 3 of them, the important 3.
And then you got all the side movies.
You got the Hobbits, which the first Hobbit movie wasn't bad. After that, so the Hobbit book was just one book that they stretched into 3 movies.
Gotcha.
Whereas the Lord of the Rings books was an actual book trilogy.
Three books.
But yeah, I would be willing to watch with you if you want someone to watch with.
See, I might take you up on that. I'm just afraid that I'm going to enjoy them, and I've spent 15 years shitting on them just based on jokes from Clerks 2.
Right. No, that was my exact thought before too, because I never even really wanted to watch them. Then you see Clerks 2, and then you make fun of them, and it's like, oh, 3 fucking movies of people walking.
I made fun of them so bad I made the guy puke.
So, yeah, and we were in high school when we watched
2006, I think.
And then I didn't watch them until probably 2014. It's like 8 years after we watched Clerks and me making those same jokes. And it's like, I mean, yes, I've seen them now. And yes, there's a lot of walking. But there's more than that. And that'd be like saying that Game of Thrones is just a bunch of exposition. There's a lot more than just them explaining their plans to each other.
Right.
So,
but not a whole lot.
There's also boobs.
Right. Like, the best part about Game of Thrones, and I imagine Lord of the Rings doesn't have this, is that anytime they introduce a new female character, you're like, would like to see her naked. And then you wait 18 seconds, and there's her boobs. Love that about Game of Thrones.
Unless they were really good at negotiating, and then they don't have to show their boobs.
Then there's no boobs. But when you're like, oh, hey, Natalie Dormer, and your slight smirk, I'd like to see your boobs. And then
she has soulless dick-sucking eyes. You can edit as much of that out as you want.
I'm not sure where I believe that.
Do we just do one long extended bleep?
She has
but I can't think of her and just not shout that out.
Good to know. What is your number 3?
So my number 3 is Scarface.
See, I have this so I'm the youngest person at my office by 18 years. So I'm 30, you're 31, you old bastard. But the next closest person to me is 48.
Right.
So they're all in amazement, like, oh, you've never seen this, you've never seen that. And my argument is always like, how many movies have you seen that were 15 years old when you were born? Or like, you know, that came out 20 years before you were born? Probably not many. I've seen Scarface. You would enjoy it, I think.
I mean,
but it came out, 10 years before you were born?
6 years.
All right. So
Jaws came out 24 years before 14 years.
Yeah, 15 years before.
And I've seen that a countless amount of times. But my mom enjoyed the movie Jaws, so
Right.
I remember watching it with her when I was like 8 or 9 or 10. The first time I watched it, and I was
watched it for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
right. But I remember watching it for the first time, and I'm like, well, sharks aren't real, right, Mom? No, they're real, right?
Oh.
But this shark isn't real. No, those are real. They're not in the pond. No, they're not in the pond.
yet.
Perfect.
Great. Good to know. So
yeah,
Scarface,
I've got Scarface.
You would enjoy Scarface. There's a lot of F words,
yeah.
a lot of blow, a lot of guns.
Al Pacino,
Al Pacino.
Michelle Pfeiffer,
That's not how you
Robert Loggia.
L is in look. There's
It's
Robert
Robert.
Loggia. O is in. Oh, look over there. It's Robert Loggia. You would like Scarface.
Yeah, I
So
think
of-
I would. I've
like,
just
of
never.
the $3 you would spend to watch it. You would appreciate that you spent the $3 to watch it.
I think I mean, I have that somewhere. Someone in my family has it
Oh, it's like
on disc.
You have $3 somewhere. I would hope so. I would hope so.
But that's another 3-hour movie. Another 2-hour and 50-minute. But yeah, I mean,
I didn't realize
it's
it didn't feel that long.
it's just every time I think about like watching a new movie, I'm just like, or I could watch this thing that I already know that I like.
I know that I enjoy this. Like I'm not investing any time.
Well, and I don't like go to watch a movie until like 11:30 or midnight. So I don't want to start something that I get super interested in, and now I'm up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and I have to go to work in 5 hours.
Right. My issue is, and I don't. Producer Ashley's not in here, but she would probably maybe she would agree with this. I feel bad. She's walking in the door right now. I feel bad making her watch stuff that I know she does not want to watch or have any interest in watching. So I don't watch a whole bunch of stuff. Like there's all sorts of on a Saturday I will go through the movies that are on our Roku TV and be like, I would watch that, I would watch that, I would watch that, I would watch that. And she'll be like, well, why don't you? Because you're here.
Do you want to watch it?
Right.
Well, no.
Okay, well then. So I don't watch much TV outside of like live sports, but only at this point, like the Blue Jackets, and I'll watch the Colts and Ohio State football. Oh wait, no, I won't watch Ohio State football. Thanks. But
Herb Dean.
so I feel bad subjecting Ashley to 2 hours or 3 hours of something
9 hours.
she doesn't want to watch. So I'm not like I try to be considerate. I know that
Is a shocker.
doesn't come across very well, but I do try to be considerate, and so I don't watch stuff that I would probably like to or whatever. And anything that you have to pay attention to, it's a non-starter for her. If it's not like Gilmore Girls, get it out of here.
So what is your number 3?
This will make you. I know that you know this, but you'll be like, you're an idiot. I've not seen any of the Avengers movies.
Right. Any of the MCU.
I've seen Iron Man, the first one.
The first one?
The first one. And when it came out, and I had the DVD, I think superhero movies are just not my thing.
They're so good.
I love Batman, but Batman's not a superhero. He's just rich and sexy. Like that's not he doesn't have any superpowers.
Right. Neither does Iron Man. He is also rich and sexy.
No.
He's a billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
I'm 9 years old and I smell like Robert. He's 9 years old and he smells like Robert Downey Jr. No, just superheroes, not my thing. Like you were like, hey, you need to watch The Boys on Prime Video. And I'm like, okay. And we watched it. And I'm like, that's really good, but it's just not my thing. It's
right.
just everybody has.
You like Umbrella Academy, though. But it's not.
I haven't seen it.
Oh. But it's not even really superhero based. They are superheroes, but it's not. They don't fix their problems with their powers or anything.
Gotcha.
And their problems aren't related to their powers. I think you'd like it if you gave it a shot.
But anytime I say, like, I've got my boss's, the owner of our company, his assistant is like, it's like an Infinity War and blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know what that means because I have not seen it. That's not, And what?
Right.
Sorry, there's another guy at
I
work
mean,
who's like, oh, you go to the midnight showings of those big superhero movies? I'm like, nope. Sure don't. I don't even watch them in the comfort of my own home because
I mean, I do.
I don't like them.
I went to midnight showings of a bunch of those movies.
So, yeah, pretty much you're right. The whole
but it
MCU,
captivates
I haven't seen it.
such a huge audience. Like, old people who might have read the comic books, old people who didn't read the comic books, like, kids, like, literally everybody, men, women, everybody is all encompassed in it. And it's such a... Game of Thrones was very similar in that it was all anybody talked about for a long time. And if somebody hadn't seen Game of Thrones and you try and talk them into watching Game of Thrones and they wouldn't watch Game of Thrones, you just cut those people out of your life because you don't need that kind of negativity.
I'm not negative about it. It's just not my thing. Like, I can appreciate that you enjoy those. It's just like some people really love golf. Some people really love watching golf on TV. I'm not going to ever love watching golf on TV. I don't shit talk it.
I enjoy it.
But it's just not my thing.
So
I don't enjoy it.
This is the first year in my life where I've watched intentionally golf on TV. And I watched like the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods thing. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed that. It was Memorial Day weekend.
It was.
And I watched a little bit of golf last weekend.
Did you buy
intentionally?
PGA 2K21?
I bought PGA 2K21.
How is it?
Fun. I played it the weekend I bought it and then just played it again last night for like 4 hours till 3 o'clock in the morning. Because that's what adults do.
That's what single dudes do.
I gotta adjust the difficulty a little bit. So last night, one of the rounds, I played 2 rounds because it was a big tourney, and I was like negative 19 or 18 under par for the 2 rounds, and then the very next one I was even through 18 and came in like 3rd place. So I've got to find a good
happy medium.
Yeah, somewhere in there where I'm not winning a tournament by 20 strokes.
Right, just 25 strokes. And you're like, I'm the greatest of all time.
And then the very next game, I'm even.
You missed the cut. I got you. But so, yeah, the MCU, like Chadwick Boseman died. Loved him in 42. Vontae Mack, loved him in Draft Day.
Vontae Mack, no matter what.
Never seen Black Panther. And I know that's just a gigantic movie. Haven't seen it. So not only haven't I seen it.
So you still haven't seen it?
Still haven't
even
seen it.
after
Even though
you
it was on commercial free.
You have Disney Plus,
at 8 o'clock.
so
right,
it's always commercial free for you.
Right, yeah, no matter what. I could watch it. If I had an hour and 40 minutes of free time, I could have watched Black Panther.
You have an hour and 40 minutes of free time.
I disagree. So, yeah, I still have never. So, but you're right in saying the entire MCU. I haven't seen not just the Avengers, but basically everything other
than the
first Iron Man when it came out 20 years ago. So do with that
12 years ago. Jesus.
The first Iron Man came out 12 years ago?
Like 2008.
I thought it came out like 2001 or something.
2008.
All right, whatever. Yeah, so I saw it. That was.
So that was your number 3.
That's my number 3.
Go with your number 2.
My number 2. Oh, I don't think you have seen these movies either. I have not seen any of the Godfather movies.
I have not seen any of the Godfather movies either.
And I know that they are widely regarded as the first 2 as 2
like,
of the best movies of
you,
all time. I've never seen.
I think if you look at like IMDb top 100 movies, which I'm going to Google right now.
Yeah, like Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption, then Godfather Part 2. Like, are the top 3 movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
And I haven't seen either of those. 4th is The Dark Knight. I'm just going to finish the top 8 because that's what's here. 4th is The Dark Knight. We've obviously both seen that.
Love it. Saw it 3 times.
Number 5 is 12 Angry Men, which is a 1957 movie.
Oh, haven't seen
I have never seen that. Schindler's List is 6.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is 7.
Nope.
Pulp Fiction is 8.
Yep.
So
Pulp Fiction is not the 8th best movie ever, but okay. So
I think it's the 8th highest rated on IMDb.
Right. Well, but that would then be the bests of the bests.
Beasts.
But I haven't seen any of the Godfather movies, and that riles people up.
Neither have I.
I'm glad
How can you talk about movies if you haven't
Right.
seen these movies?
Well,
I just act like they don't exist.
Have you ever seen Unsane starring Claire Foy that was shot entirely on iPhones? No. Well, then
Have
shut
you
up.
seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? No. Do I want to? No.
Also, yeah, you've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We watched it.
I did not go to that film
Okay.
class.
All right. Okay. Apparently, you have not.
No, I did we watch the Birdman of Alcatraz in there as well?
No.
I've seen the Birdman of Alcatraz,
Not the same thing.
but I think that I did not go to the class in which we watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Was that in the Ruining Movies class?
Yes.
I dropped that class before we got to that movie.
Gotcha.
Like after they ruined Nemo.
We will talk about that in the reaction show.
I think we've also talked about that
We
class.
will explain that class further. So that's my number 2. I've never seen any of the Godfather movies. Apparently, the third one not good, but the first 2
Not that
obviously people like a lot. So that's my number 2. What about you?
So my number 2, we've talked about this, is Hoosiers.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen the whole.
I've
the
never
whole thing.
I've never seen all of Hoosiers. I've seen maybe the end of Hoosiers, something about a picket fence.
Nah, not quite. No.
Is there a picket fence?
There's a picket fence in Hoosiers. Yes.
Yeah, it's just a pick and roll, right?
No.
Or then they swing out. Yeah. So yeah, I've seen Hoosiers, but
You're like, I've seen the good parts.
and I've also said that it's an overrated movie.
You have.
and that's because I haven't seen it.
I was going to say, I had it number 1 on my sports movies, and you were like, it's overrated. And then you said, it's not really fair for me to say it's overrated. I've never seen it. Like, well, hold on. Hold on a second here. If I think it's on like TBS
Gotcha.
a lot, especially like during the holidays and stuff, I think.
I mean, I can find a way to watch it, and I probably should.
Yeah, it's a movie worth your time. You would probably end up being like, this is stupid. And it's because you've probably heard over and over again how great it is, and then you watch it and you're like,
It's like watching Rudy the first time. This movie isn't that good.
okay, some people are just born wrong. All right.
I wasn't born wrong. I wasn't wrong till I watched that movie, apparently.
So is
He's
it
offsides.
Okay. So is it just what's stopping you from watching Hoosiers now? Nothing.
Thinking about watching it when I'm trying to find a movie to watch is the only thing that's stopping me.
Gotcha.
Like over the last couple months, I've sent text messages to like groups of people.
Yeah.
Be like, give me a fun movie to watch that I haven't seen. And then they just spam me with movies. I'm like, I've seen all of these movies. Give me one I haven't seen.
I hate you with Jojo Rabbit, which
And I watched Jojo Rabbit that night. And
I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit.
so that's a movie that I'd thought about watching a bunch of times and gotten close, but just never pulled the trigger. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to spend $19.99 and just buy it on Amazon Video. I don't remember. I think I bought it and not rented it. And then I bought another movie on Amazon Video instead of renting it. I think I bought 1917.
Oh, solid choice.
Well, come to find out that I forgot about my HBO subscription,
gonna say.
and both of those movies are on HBO, and I could have watched them for free.
Is 1917 on now?
Yeah.
We steal my sister's HBO, and Jojo Rabbit's on there, and there's another movie that I wanted to see in theaters that I never did that I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Oh, you know what it was? It was Jojo Rabbit, and it wasn't 1917. It was the Birds movie, Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
That's
I
on there.
I either rented or bought that one as well.
And then
Like,
go to HBO.
and then go to HBO, and they were both on there.
No, I feel you there. So Godfather movies, my number 2. Haven't seen them.
Hoosiers is my number
Hoosiers
2.
number 2 for Don.
Haven't watched all of it.
Haven't seen the whole thing. What is your honorable mentions?
Okay, so my honorable mention, I've got Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
Um,
That was also in the screening disabilities class we took in college
Yeah, I dropped that class.
after the Finding Nemo fiasco.
Yeah. Did you stay in that class?
I did.
Interesting. Because there's 3 of us that took it, and you
Yes.
were the only one that stayed in it.
Yes.
So I've seen maybe 40% of A Clockwork Orange. Like I've seen where they beat the shit out of the guy while they're singing in the rain. No, did they beat him to that song, or they beat the guy up to a different
I
song?
haven't seen that movie other than in that
But-
one sitting and then having to explain why.
I guess that the guy who's the leader of that band of people kept singing that song while he was doing it, so they had to go and license that song afterwards so that they could use it in the movie.
Oh, I did not know that.
The song, I think it's a Rob Zombie song. It's, "Oh, my Durango, number 95." That's based off of that movie and that car.
What is that?
Never
What
gonna
song
stop
called?
me,
Yeah.
never gonna stop.
So you have Clockwork Orange in your honorable mention.
I also have Shutter Island in my honorable mention.
You would really enjoy Shutter Island.
I haven't seen and I don't know why. I like Leonardo DiCaprio and like everything I've seen him in. I have not seen a lot of his movies. Like-
Such as?
Shutter Island.
Right. I picked up on that one.
I'm gonna say I think I watched Inception once, but I'm not sure because that movie's very difficult to watch. And have I seen the whole thing? Yes, I think. Was it a fever dream? I don't know.
Where, like,
But
was
he
I on-
spins the top of the end, and it looks like it's going to fall down. But then you're like, is he in a dream after all? The answer is no. The top falls down, thusly not in a dream. I haven't seen The Revenant.
Ooh.
Which I got like 10 minutes into a shaky cam version of it when he was like going to win the Oscar, and I was like, I can't fucking do this. I need to watch it for real.
I think you would like both of those movies. I know that you would like Shutter Island. I think you would like The Revenant.
What is the other?
Shutter Island's good stuff. I mean, I would love to just tell you everything about Shutter Island.
I've seen The Departed.
I haven't.
I've never seen The Great Gatsby.
I haven't seen it either because, you know what? The Great Gatsby sucks. We talked about it in our books we read in school. It's just bad source material, so I know the movie's going to suck.
Catch Me If You Can was good. I've never seen
Catch Me
Gangs
If
of New York.
You're not... I don't... You might like it.
I think we watched Romeo and Juliet in Buxton's class
Did.
in like our freshman year of high school, and then we saw boobs.
That was the original Romeo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where he was like, we're going to skip past this part because they show like 14-year-old boobs. And we're like, okay.
But then he would just
magically went go make
it's like-
copies or whatever.
right.
And, oh, it was all the boobies. Great. So any other honorable mentions for you?
Not that I want to talk about right now.
Okay. My 2 honorable mentions. Continuing with I haven't seen any of these series or franchises or whatever. I've never seen any of the Transformers movies.
The first 2 Transformer movies were really good. The third one was okay. After that, they all went down the drain.
I have not seen any of the X-Men movies. And basically the only reason of that is my brother, who's appeared on this podcast numerous times,
For the last time.
as he really loves those things.
And
Used to really love those things.
and
Since he liked
therefore-
them, therefore I don't.
So I don't know that we've spent much time talking about the X-Men movies. Usually it's just Avengers.
There was some actor
the
that
very
you were like, he was this person in X-Men, blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
I'm like, okay.
Liev Schreiber
Yes.
was
Liev Schreiber,
Wolverine
yes.
in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So the first X-Men movie was really good. The second X-Men movie was okay. The third X-Men movie was hot trash. X-Men Origins Wolverine was at a very awkward time in CGI and Blu-ray. So they made his claws look so fucking fake in that movie that it ruined it just by his claws. And then Deadpool was in that movie. They sewed his mouth shut. That's a whole different other thing that's very frustrating about it. I enjoyed that movie. The second Wolverine Origins movie was okay. The movie Logan was phenomenal. Came out like 3 years ago.
I was saying that was Hugh Jackman back as
Wolverine.
As Wolverine, right?
Wolverine's name is Logan.
Right, I know.
The other X-Men movies like Days of Future Past was okay. And then whatever the one was after that was trash, and so was Dark Phoenix was also trash.
So I'm not missing a ton of great stuff there.
You should watch the first 3 and then just the Wolverine movies.
Okay. I might do that.
Like that.
But
Honestly, you could just watch the first one and then the Wolverine movies. Like
Zach was super into them back in the day, and I'm like, if you like them, they must be bad.
Especially Logan. Like, it's worth watching those movies just so that you can watch Logan. It's so good.
All right. So those are my honorable mentions. What is your number one movie, or movies in my case, that you have not seen that everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe you've never seen that?
So my number one movie is The Godfather. I had The Godfather Part 2 in my honorable mentions because it's essentially the same thing. So we're just going to go The Godfather movies because they are so critically acclaimed as the best movies of all time. And I've just never seen them. And I don't know why. Like, I've had a full day of nothing to do before, and I've thought I could watch The Godfather, and then I think, or I could whack my pud. Like, and one of those is a lot more interesting to me than the other.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, yeah. One of those is a lot more enjoyable.
So I think what we're finding during this 2-man podcast is that when we have to talk just the two of us and don't get a break as a third person talks, we just start spouting out some real shit.
It's just true, though. Because I had thought earlier, like you were like, you've got an hour and 40 minutes of free time. And I'm like, I don't know. If I've sat in a room for longer than 10 minutes by myself, there's a 83% chance that I have not had free time, Don. There has been some.
All right, so Garrett, what's your number one?
I have not seen, and I want to admit that I'm not like proud of these, the last statement I just made, or or any of these movies that I've done. I'm not proud that I haven't seen them. But my number one, I do everything that I can to never say this. I've not seen 1 second of any James Bond movie ever.
And you are or are not proud to say this?
I am not proud to say that.
Okay.
Not 1 second.
I don't
if
have.
It has not appeared in a movie trailer with Daniel Craig as James Bond, I have not seen it.
So, I enjoy James Bond movies. I'm not obsessed with them. Like, there are people who are obsessed with the character of James Bond, and were like super concerned when Idris Elba was going to be the new 007 a couple years ago.
Because
black people can't be
fictional characters,
right? I've never seen any of the Sean Connery ones or the other guy ones
Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, I think.
Oh, so Pierce Brosnan I've seen, like Die Another Day, GoldenEye. And I've seen all the Daniel Craig ones. They're good movies. Like, Casino Royale is a very good movie, and it's probably my favorite James Bond movie.
I just don't.
And it's super grounded. I think you would like it more than a normal action movie because it's a very grounded, down to earth. He's not jumping out of airplanes, and he's not doing Mission Impossible. Like, Mission Impossible is James Bond on acid.
I got you. I'm just not a big action guy.
So there's not It's almost as much
Like it's almost
of a suspense.
strategy action and not just like boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom. We got to drive this car down some stairs, and you got to put my arm over to the next seat and go, hold on. Dunk, 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 dunk. And then you fly through the air, and it's doing some Matrix shit while you're killing everyone, but no bullets ever hit you. So it's not that.
Right.
Gotcha.
Like Casino Royale, 30% of the movie is people playing poker
Gotcha.
and dialogue, but not in a boring way. So Casino Royale would be a good one to start with.
It's just the action, not my thing.
It's not really an action movie.
I will give the there have been several times where I think Skyfall was on HBO forever.
Right.
Like I should sit down and watch that, and then I just continued living my life. So I will work on that. So those are the movies that we haven't seen, and that's our confession for the day.
We might see them sometime.
Might see them sometime. We'll let you know what we think. I hadn't saw Jaws for a really long time.
What do you think?
Thought it was pretty good. It gets a little slow there for a while, but then picks back up there.
400 men went into the water.
I do have
Only
some,
30 came out.
I have some problems with how it ends, but we'll talk about that in the reaction show.
Yeah, because oxygen tanks don't blow up like that.
Well, it's just like the shark's really
Smile, you son of a bitch.
this shark's really smart, but then he's like, I'm just gonna chipmunk this this canister of compressed air. I bet that could not go wrong. Like, how's he attack a whole boat? But then it's like, I'm just gonna leave this like a pouch of dip in my cheek so I can somehow die. Come on, Jaws, you're better than that. You can find us 5-star review wherever you find us on our podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Rankum Podcast, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Rankum Podcast.